Gone was the nervous boy of the old days. Now he moved like a soldier, precision, purpose. No hesitation. Grim stood at the heart of it, an architect of resurrection, commanding the dead.
"You're the boy who ran from monsters,"
he said.
Not anymore.
Neuroquack growled, activating a pocket singularity.
Now I build the weapons that kill them.
The desert imploded, and Grim was gone. Target Epsilon. Counselor Umbra. Submerged Rift Sanctum, South Pacific. A shadow tore through black waters. Negaduck. Alone. No plan, no backup. Just blood in the water and rage in his chest. Counselor Umbra emerged from a living coral throne. An octopus drifting between form and formless. Tentacles woven with rift energy, eyes burning with unnatural light. Negaduck smiled through a cracked mask.
Nice makeover.
They fought beneath the waves in silence. When he surfaced, he dragged her head with him. No words, no quip, just a grin of teeth and fury as he hauled the severed head aboard. One target remained, Director Ramrod, and by the time the world blinked, Darkwing Duck and his team were already coming. Chapter 16. The Last Descent. The ocean loomed. Dark, endless, silent. Beneath its surface, buried deep within the mid-Atlantic rift, waited the last beating heart of F.O.W.L, the core nexus where Director Ramrod had nested himself in a fortress of dimension-warped steel and cold, pure control. The world above held its breath. Across the Resistance's last channels, a single message had gone out. The team was descending. No one knew if they would rise again. But for now, on the deck of a stealth-modified submersible, the team sat in stillness. The job was nearly done, and none of them felt like celebrating. Forward cabin. Staging room. A low hum buzzed through the hull as final systems powered up. Weapon crates lined the walls. Emergency oxygen masks hung like ghost faces. The lighting was dim, by design. Darkwing Duck stood by the observation port, watching the black water roll past, his reflection faint in the glass. The weight in his shoulders had become permanent. Launchpad sat on a nearby bench, slowly wrapping gauze around his ribs. His fingers brushed against a photo tucked in his vest pocket. Goslin, younger, laughing. He pulled the gauze tighter.
"They're all gone."
He said, not looking up.
"Vulturetta, Havoc, Grim, every last one of those bastards."
Not all.
Darkwing said quietly.
Not yet.
Morgana stepped in, her cloak drenched from salt air.
"We all made it back, but we didn't all come back the same."
No one answered. She sat beside Launchpad.
"I killed Nyx,"
she added.
"Watched the life drain from her eyes. And I still don't know if she was ever fully alive after what they did to her."
Neuroquack nodded from across the room, voice distant.
Grim was smiling when he died. I think he wanted it.
Neptunia cleaned her trident. She hadn't spoken since the orbital array went dark. Finally, she said,
"We've put down gods. What's left?"
Hell!
said Negaduck, leaning against the bulkhead.
One last stop before the bottom.
He glanced around the room. No mask. No chains. Just blood on his boots and a look in his eye that no longer needed sarcasm.
You all thinking about what comes next?
Darkwing turned to face him.
There is no next if we don't finish this.
Negaduck nodded.
Good. I'd hate to survive this shit show and go back to paying taxes.
They shared a dry, exhausted look, something close to understanding. A quiet moment, final check. Gizmo Duck was recalibrating his systems with help from Gyro Gearloose via comlink.
All systems green.
He said softly. Gyro's voice crackled in his ear.
Bring them home, Fenton.
I will.
The team fell into a strange, sacred rhythm, checking gear, strapping armor, locking weapons. No speeches, no cheers, just eyes meeting, hands clapping shoulders. Small nods. The kind of ritual forged only through fire and loss. Darkwing Duck opened a small side compartment in his gauntlet. Inside, the component Gyro had given him before the mission.
Just in case.
He attached it to the core of his suit. The HUD flickered, updating. A new icon appeared. Dark Warrior Protocol Online. Darkwing exhaled slowly.
No promises, Gyro.
He closed the compartment. Outside the sub, ocean descent begins. Warning klaxons pulsed as the ship began its final dive. The lights dimmed red. Darkwing and Negaduck stood alone near the port again. Negaduck broke the silence.
You meant what you said?
Darkwing didn't turn.
About ending this?
No,
Negaduck said.
about us. One last fight. When this is over.
Darkwing looked at him now. And there was no hesitation.
Like I said before, if we survive this,
He said.
you'll have your fight.
Negaduck grinned.
No mercy.
Darkwing's voice was low, final.
None.
The ship sank into black, hull groaning against the pressure. Lights fading, breath held, toward the core, toward Ramrod, toward the end. Chapter 17. The Birth of the End. Foul Core Nexus. The Deep Sea Throne. Miles beneath the surface, at the bottom of the world, the heart of F.O.W.L pulsed like a buried sun. Director Ramrod sat on a throne of black metal and writhing cables. The control chamber around him was shaped like a cathedral built by madness, organic and angular, glowing with breach energy that warped the air itself. Screens flickered with seismic data, biological vitals, and interdimensional rift telemetry. All around him, machines hummed with inhuman cadence. He sat alone, and he was smiling. The Shadow Council was gone, burned, executed, erased. All of it, as expected, as planned.
They played their parts well.
Ramrod murmured to no one.
Martyrs, failures, fools. They believed they were the architects of destiny when they were merely footnotes.
He rose slowly, walked past the altar of memory. Images flickering of the Justice Ducks. Launchpad bleeding in a bunker. Morgana's screams. Negaduck's smile. Goslin's body.
And now that Duck finally arrives,
He whispered.
the one who clawed back from retirement, from heartbreak, from powerlessness.
He turned to face a containment pod, massive, pulsing. Inside, something not quite born. A silhouette. Familiar. Too familiar.
The perfect Duck.
He smiled wider.
No, the superior Duck.
He laid a hand on the glass.
All the planning, the patience, the sacrifice. Every moment since the beginning, it leads here, tonight.
The chamber began to shake as breach energy intensified. Ramrod closed his eyes and grinned wider. His eyes opened, glowing with something alien. Breach tendrils pulsed faintly beneath the skin of his throat.
You think this is about revenge, Darkwing? No, this is about ascension.
His eyes opened fully, blazing now.
And it's time I played my final ace.
Abyssal trench. Foul core perimeter. The stealth sub cut through the darkness, hull creaking under the impossible pressure. Outside, lights flickered as rift anomalies slid across the ocean floor. Shadowy things lurking in the depths, watching. Inside the sub, silence reigned. Weapons primed. Armor tightened. Final systems checked. Morgana's eyes burned. Violet. Gizmo Duck's armor hissed steam. Stegmut whispered prayers. Launchpad clutched the detonator like it was a lifeline. Neuroquack tapped his breach disruptor, fingers shaking. Negaduck just smiled. And Darkwing Duck stood at the hatch, pulse calm, eyes cold.
Breach point reached.
The pilot whispered.
Then we go.
Darkwing said. The outer doors hissed open. Foul core nexus. Outer ring. The water crushed in, then fled. As the decompression tunnel cycled open, the team entered through the lower intake shaft. Weapons raised, hearts armored. Lights flickered in rhythmic pulses like a heartbeat counting down. The corridors were wrong, breathing, mutating. A voice whispered from the walls.
You're already inside the womb.
It was Ramrod himself. They moved deeper. Every step was a funeral drum. Every corridor, a countdown. They were in the heart of hell, and the devil was waiting. Foul core nexus. Inner sanctum. Access. The silence shattered like glass. Alarms shrieked across the base in tones that hurt to hear. Lights pulsed crimson. Rift fog poured from vents in the floor. And then the storm hit. From every hallway they came. Foul elite enforcers, cybernetic wraiths, breach-augmented soldiers, and stitched horrors that screamed in reversed languages. They weren't birds anymore. And they weren't just trying to stop the heroes.
They were trying to erase them.
Darkwing Duck. He dove into the chaos headfirst, twin blasters roaring with violet energy. The HUD pulsed in his eye.
Dark Warrior Protocol. Active.
He moved with surgical precision, dropping 3 soldiers in the opening seconds with shots to the knees, the throat, the skull. Blood painted his coat. He didn't blink.
No more running.
His voice was low, feral. A beast lunged. He grabbed his jaw and snapped it clean off, tossing the body aside like trash. Rage kept him upright. Only rage.
For Goslin!
Launchpad McQuack. A metal war-suited brute smashed through the wall, knocking Launchpad into a steel beam. He coughed blood, grinned.
Wrong move, pal.
He pulled the pin on a magnetic mine and slapped it to the thing's chest, then kicked it into a breach node. The explosion tore the hallway in half. He limped forward, swinging a bent steel bar like a knight with a sword. Every breath hurt. He didn't stop. Every blow was for the girl he couldn't save. Every step for the city they took. Morgana Macabre. A psychic shriek blasted from a rift-evolved telepath. Morgana ate it alive. Her magic twisted into dark flame. snakes of shadow devouring attackers by the dozens. She screamed incantations that cracked walls, cast their own gravity. A blade caught her shoulder. She turned the wound into a hex, melted the attacker's brain from the inside.
No more pain.
She whispered.
Just death.
Gizmo Duck. The hallway was his. He locked his wheels, braced, and let every weapon in his arsenal unload. Missiles, lasers, sonic blasters, a whirling saw shield.
Let's see you upgrade from this.
He roared, mowing through mechanized soldiers like steel wheat. A cyber tank rolled into view. He charged it head on, metal shattered. Only Gizmo Duck stood up. Sparking, smoking, still moving. Stegmut. He didn't move like a bruiser. He moved like a juggernaut, grabbing a foul juggernaut and hurling it into three more. His armor cracked. His arm broke mid-fight, and he just screamed louder.
You don't hurt my friends.
A riftworm latched to his chest. He ripped it in half with his teeth. Neptunia. They came in waves, fire squads, breach beasts, drones. She flooded the entire corridor. With a single stomp, she cracked open a pipe vein and unleashed a tidal wave of electrified seawater. Bodies floated. She rose through it like an ancient god, trident glowing with ocean fury.
For every drowned city, this is your reckoning.
Neuroquack. He wasn't a fighter. He was the endgame technician. While the world collapsed around him, he ducked under blasts, ripped into power cores, uploaded virus after virus into F.O.W.L systems, security communications, rift stabilization. One rift engine exploded. Another imploded. He gritted his teeth and yelled over the comms.
Give me 30 more seconds, I can collapse their fallback gates.
A rifle aimed at his head. He spun with a taser, pulled the trigger.
I'm not the kid anymore.
Negaduck. He was poetry and carnage. Chainsaw grenades, dual machetes. He danced through bodies, laughing with no humor, his cape a banner of gore.
You thought this was gonna be even? You brought numbers. I brought hell.
He bisected a general, beheaded a brute, caught a grenade, kissed it, and shoved it into a rift creature's gut.
I was born for this day.
Blood soaked the corridors. The lights flickered between red and black, and when the final gate was breached, the team, scorched, bleeding, armor ruined, stood together. Breathing, but barely. Their enemies were dead or fleeing. The core pulsed just ahead. They had survived the slaughter, and ahead, in the pulsing dark, Ramrod waited. Chapter 18. The Superior Duck. F.O.W.L Core Nexus. Inner Sanctum. The chamber was cathedral-like, pulsing with raw breach energy. Monolithic data towers arced into a ceiling, lost in shadow. Cables slithered like vines. Screens played fragments of the world in chaos, as cities burning, people kneeling, rift storms spreading like rot. At the center stood Director Ramrod, arms clasped behind his back, cloak flowing with unnatural gravity. His visor glowed with cold light. Before him, in a containment field of mirrored energy, stood his creation, the Superior Duck. It was Darkwing's image, refined, sharpened, made perfect, sleek armor, unnatural eyes, engineered with rift-infused biomatter, augmented speed, and adaptive tactics. A god in a duck's skin. The Justice Ducks entered slowly, weapons raised, bodies scarred, and bloodied from the slaughter behind them. Darkwing Duck stepped forward, eyes narrowed.
You built that to replace me.
Ramrod didn't flinch.
Not replace. Evolve.
Darkwing's voice cracked with restrained fury.
You could have built anything. You could have done anything. But you came after my daughter. Why?
Silence hung heavy. Then Ramrod turned to face him fully.
Because you mattered.
He walked slowly towards them.
Because in a world of noise and chaos, you were feared, revered. You symbolized resistance. You inspired hope. And that was a variable I couldn't control.
He gestured to the suspended creation.
So I fixed it. I removed the uncertainty. I made something absolute.
Darkwing's fist clenched.
You murdered my daughter for certainty?
No,
Ramrod said calmly.
I removed a variable that could have unraveled perfection. She was the tether. You were the fury. She kept you sane. I needed you unbound, because this
He looked back at the superior duck.
was always going to require the purest form of you to complete.
Darkwing took a step forward, voice hoarse, shaking with fury.
I'm going to stop you. I don't care how perfect your monster is. I don't care about your plan. I'm not here for ideology. I'm here for vengeance.
Ramrod tilted his head slightly.
Then you're playing a dangerous game, Mr. Mallard.
Darkwing said nothing for a long moment.
Why?
He finally asked. Voice steel.
Why all of this? Why kill her? Why break me? Why build that?
Ramrod smiled, cold, patient.
Because I needed to burn away everything that made you a duck, a father, a friend, a man. I needed the grief to hollow you out, to strip away mercy, empathy, fear, to leave behind only pure fight, pure logic, pure vengeance.
He gestured again to the superior duck, its silhouette shifting in the containment field.
Only then would the merge succeed. Only then could you be the key to perfect evolution.
Darkwing's fist trembled.
Merge.
Ramrod's eyes gleamed.
Yes, the superior duck is not just a weapon, it is the blueprint, the seed. With it I will replicate an army, not to conquer a city, not to conquer a world, but to rewrite the multiverse.
His voice deepened with fervor.
First this universe, then the negaverse, and then Sagittarius A. The human universe, where a race of primitives called humans believe they are the center of all things. They will kneel before perfection, before the superior ducks, before me.
He turned fully towards Darkwing.
And it begins tonight.
Darkwing looked down at his left wrist. The bracelet. Goslin's bracelet. One violet bead. A little duck. Still intact. He stared at it, thumb tracing the shape. His breath hitched. His shoulders trembled. One tear fell. Just one. Then he looked up. Eyes burning. Voice razor sharp.
You say that I'm playing a dangerous game, well then. Let's get dangerous.
He pressed a panel on his sleeve. With a pulse of electric light, the new armor deployed, black and violet plating unfolding across his frame, powered by breach-hardened alloys and Gyro's last remaining miracles. It hissed with silent fury. Gyroscopic stabilizers clicked into place. A repulsor cannon locked to his arm. A cape of kinetic fabric snapped into position, and the helmet sealed with a clang. Darkwing Duck was reborn. In his HUD, a single line pulsed.
Dark Warrior Protocol has been deployed.
Ramrod smiled faintly, and the superior duck opened its eyes. The heroes stood frozen, watching Darkwing's transformation. Gyro's tech glinting like obsidian fire, smoke rising from the armor's heat vents. Launchpad whispered,
Holy shit. DW.
Morgana's eyes widened.
My God, it's powerful.
Gizmo Duck let out a low whistle.
Gyro, you beautiful, brilliant lunatic.
Negaduck grinned.
Now we're talking.
Even Ramrod tilted his head, momentarily impressed.
Fascinating,
he said.
But ultimately...
He stopped mid-sentence, his own armor unfolding. Black plates hissed from beneath his cloak, locking into place with sharp clicks. Rift veins glowed red beneath the surface. A helmet shaped like an obsidian hawk sealed over his head, and when he opened his hands, energy blades ignited.
Pointless.
With a flick of his wrist, Ramrod launched forward. At the same time, containment shattered behind him. The superior duck stepped forward. Eyes dead. Movements perfect. Power. Not duck-like. Reactions broke into instinct. Darkwing shouted.
Defensive spread.
The team scattered. Ramrod's blades slashed across the chamber, carving a path of molten metal toward Launchpad, who barely ducked and retaliated with a jetpack blast that Ramrod caught midair and crushed.
Cute,
the director muttered, and sent him flying into a wall with a shockwave punch. Gizmo Duck charged the superior duck.
All right, Tin Can, let's see what you got.
He fired a volley of plasma rounds. The superior duck phased around them, then appeared behind him and drove a punch through Gizmo Duck's chestplate, cracking it in one shot. Neptunia leapt at the duck clone with her trident, letting loose a water cannon scream. He caught the trident in one hand, twisted, snapped it, then kicked her across the chamber. Morgana unleashed shadow serpents, chains of black flame. The superior duck stepped through them like smoke, untouched. He delivered a palm strike to her chest that sent her crashing through a console. Blood sprayed. Neuroquack tried to access a breach disruptor panel. Ramrod teleported across the room, slashing a glowing blade through the wall beside him, exploding sparks into his face.
You're a clever little pest,
he snarled. Darkwing tackled him before he could kill Neuroquack, dragging him backward in a clash of sparks and steel. Stegmut roared, charging the superior duck from behind. The clone turned. Stegmut screamed and flew back, armor cracked, bones broken. The room became a slaughterhouse. Ramrod laughed, his voice amplified and unbirdlike.
You see now? Your gods are dead. Your future is mine.
The superior duck stood motionless in the center of the carnage. Perfect. Untouched. Invincible. And Darkwing stood alone again. The others groaned, bleeding, broken, staggering to rise. The end had come. The time of this new god had arrived. Foul core nexus. Inner sanctum, seconds later. Smoke rose from crushed consoles. Blood slicked the floor. The team writhed, groaning, defeated, but not gone. And in the center of it all, Darkwing Duck stood defiant, until a shape rose from the rubble, limping, blood pouring down, one leg, one arm dislocated, still grinning like a devil who just found his last match. Negaduck. He stumbled forward, dragging a jagged machete in one hand and a scorched magnetic carbine in the other. He stopped beside Darkwing, said nothing, and Darkwing looked at him, not with hate, not even wariness, just understanding. Two sides of the same blade. They shared a single nod, then both turned toward the monster in the room, the superior duck, and without a word, they attacked, the fight of all fights. Darkwing launched forward in a blur of violet light, his gyro-forged armor lighting up with rapid, burst kinetic energy. He struck first, a swipe of his plasma gauntlet blade catching the superior duck across the side of the face. A spark, a stumble. For the first time, it bled. Just a little, but it bled. Darkwing's eyes flared behind his visor.
That's right. I can hurt you.
He activated his wrist scythe launcher. 3 rift-tuned discs flew toward the clone's legs. The superior duck dodged 2, but the third clipped its knee. It stumbled. Darkwing followed up with a backflip uppercut, sending it briefly airborne before it stabilized with jet-boosted feet. Negaduck didn't follow. He dived at Ramrod, screaming.
You fucking bastard!
He slammed into him shoulder first, drove his machete into the director's thigh. Ramrod retaliated, elbowing him in the throat, but Negaduck grinned with blood in his teeth.
You murdered my crew. You turned them into fucking experiments. And then you tried to bury me with the rest of your science projects?
He smashed a detonation charge into Ramrod's chest and pulled the trigger. The explosion threw them both into a wall.
I'll rip your spine out with my teeth,
Negaduck growled, staggering up again. Ramrod roared back, summoning an energy blade. They clashed like dying stars, steel against steel, blood against blood. Back at center, Darkwing Duck was in it.